don't know if we've noticed the uploads this year. They've been a little sparse. I'll be the first one to say it. What can I blame that on? Multiple things. The topic of today's video, a book slump. We've all been there. It's one of the most defeating feelings as a reader, and I've done a few reading vlogs in my time here on YouTube trying to get through a book slump. I've always put it in one video, wrap everything up with a bow, just in one video. But I thought, let's take a realistic, keyword here, realistic approach, because book slumps, you don't just get over them in one video. You don't just get over it like that. And I have been in a book slump. We're going on my 4th month of the year in a book slump. So I thought we would start a new little series on the channel of book slump diaries until I can finally get myself up on out of this book slump and finally enjoy my favorite hobby again. This is going to be part 1 because no, nothing unfortunately gets fixed in one video. Hi there, I'm popping in to tell you guys that we have an exciting sponsor for today's video, which is Squarespace. You guys know I've talked about Squarespace a bunch of times on this channel, and I'm here to talk to you about them again. I've made my own little blog format on Squarespace, and I cannot stress to you guys how simple and easy they are here to help you if you're wanting to make your own website. I use their Squarespace AI tool to help build my website to my exact way. Format, coloring, fonts, everything. They helped me build it to my exact idea that was in my head. Also, you can now monetize your content on Squarespace, whether you are selling courses, videos, memberships. You can fully customize it to however you see fit and start earning recurring revenue behind a paywall. You can just set the price, choose whether you want it to be a one-time fee or a reoccurring fee. And especially with doing things like that or running a website or a blog, analytics in the age of social media is so important, and Squarespace offers so many different analytics and tools for you to use. That way you can have your website running the best. So if you guys are interested, head on over to squarespace.com, start your free trial, and when you guys are ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/DustyCivil to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. As always, thank you so much again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Hi! I need to connect with literature of some sort. I have spent the last hour to hour and a half organizing my TikTok saves folder, and guess what one of the main folders was? The Hunger Games folder. Do you guys understand how many Hunger Games edits I get on my TikTok? It's too many to count at this point. What book just came out a few days ago? Sunrise on the Reaping. If you guys don't know, here's a little bit of background lore. I have loved the Hunger Games. I've been obsessed with the Hunger Games since I was literally in elementary school. I would literally go in my backyard and cosplay as Katniss Everdeen. We're going to see if Sunrise on the Reaping can help me out in my book slump, because obviously if you guys have been following along, I've been talking about how I've been, not Roku City. Sometimes I stay awake for hours at a time, I kid you not, and sometimes I'll just sit in bed and I'll just stare at Roku City and make up a whole entire story about the lives that everybody lives in Roku City. Anyway, if you've been keeping up, I've been in a slump this whole entire year. You guys already saw the intro of this video. Why am I overly explaining this to you? I don't know. The point of it was that if you guys have been keeping up with my process of trying to help myself out of a book slump was to reread books. I've been doing a whole lot of that. Hopefully this one can help me out with feeling a very, very positive emotion towards a new book. I am holding this like a baby because that is how I feel, because I love Haymitch so much. His character means so much to me, and I know it's going to emotionally destroy me to read about him as a young man and what that is like and why he was the way that he was. I've been seeing such amazing things about people who have read the book already, so I'm very excited. I'm gonna start this one. I'm gonna throw on some comfort shows in the background, and we're going to start this book. I don't know how far in I'll get into it because it's already 8:40 and I am a tired gal. A book has to be good to keep me up at night. A book has to be good to keep me up at night, yet my thoughts will keep me up at night every single night. Sunrise on the Reaping. Let's start this one. Hello everybody. It is the next morning and I don't even think I got very far into Sunrise on the Reaping yesterday. So I've literally been attached to reading on my iPad for literally like the past month, ever since I went back home and I forgot my Kindle to take with me. I have been reading on my iPad and it's like funny because this one's just so big, but I love it. I don't know. I got about 20% into it, which is actually a lot more than I thought I got into it, which is so weird. But I literally immediately got sucked in. I just love the Hunger Games so much, and I find the world and the backstories so interesting because from the beginning, like obviously when I was a kid and I read them and watched the movies and stuff for the very first time, I feel like I didn't get the emotional depth of all of the characters like around as much as I did. Like I reread them at the end of 2023, but I literally have all of the books right here. I really love them so much and I think about them all the time, and we've actually seen like some other little snippets of like kind of, what do you want to call it, like family line lineage in these books and stuff, like relatives and all of that stuff. It's been a very interesting read, but I actually just made breakfast, so I actually can't read and eat. I've tried it multiple times. Like, you know, like how some people, like when I go on my walking pad, I can read, or like if I'm walking on the treadmill at the gym, I can read, and some people are like, I could never do that. I can't read and eat. I don't know why. So I'm actually updating my Fable right now because I actually recently edited my reading goal, so I'm editing it on here. I changed it from 150 to 50. Gather my thoughts because I finished Sunrise on the Reaping. Wow. I have to say that book a little bit emotionally destroyed me. And here's the thing, I've been seeing some discourse about this. Yes, this is a prequel, but also the Hunger Games books have been around for literally like, I don't even know how many years at this point, and the movies. Haymitch's story is not a like, in my opinion, I guess, is not a spoiler because his existence in the series, period, being a victor lets you know that he won his games. So with that knowledge, going in with this, like being connected to so many different characters, that new ones that you meet, and knowing like this sense of dread of just knowing like what is going to happen was genuinely so painful. Why Suzanne Collins? Why did you have to do that? What was the reason? Suzanne Collins has been breaking my heart for years now. I ate this book up. I told you guys when I like sat down to start reading this today, I got like 17% through the book, and then I read the rest in one sitting. Like I sat here and I did not get up once, not even to go pee. Wow. All I have to say is wow. Also because characters that are very prominent that we see in Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay, and backstory to characters that I never even thought that we would get, that we got. And if this book did not destroy me enough throughout the whole entirety of it, the epilogue went ahead and did one more in, because I also feel like we have been asking for like an epilogue book for after the Hunger Games, and I feel like in her own way, this was her way of giving like little snippets of like an epilogue book. But for me personally, I was so excited for this book because Haymitch is literally one of those characters that I just loved from like the start, and I always love when I rewatch because you can tell that he is such a layered character, and obviously you meet him when he's like a lot older, in his 30s, isn't he? In his 30s when you see him in the books / movies, and you see him and he is just this like completely different person than you meet obviously at the beginning of this book. Like you never really get a lot of backstory because he doesn't necessarily really tell anybody. It's kind of the same where it feels like people who know him know, but like if you as the viewer, you don't necessarily know his backstory. So getting his backstory fully is so devastating and heartbreaking, but also makes what happens in Catching Fire and Mockingjay so much more, it means so much more. Like rewatching or rereading Catching Fire and Mockingjay after this, it would bring a whole new meaning, especially with his, because he's a very prominent character, like his involvement throughout the whole entire series. It just brings a whole entire new meaning to it, but also seeing who he was before all of these things happened and also while these things are happening. Also, the nickname Sweetheart, like getting an origin story for that nickname and why was so genuinely so emotional. Like, why does it, y'all, when I read that in the epilogue, I literally wanted to start sobbing my eyes out because like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Hello, everybody. It is literally hours later. I feel like a part of me has literally broken off into that book and I will never recover. Like the same way that so much of me lives inside of the Hunger Games books, like so many parts of me and different parts of me do. Yeah, that is how I feel about this book. I fear that I have to give it a 5-star because I've really been thinking on it. Like I didn't really want to rate it at first because I was like, just because I love the Hunger Games, like what is it? And then for the continuation of the day after I finished the book, it's all I have thought about. I've went down a rabbit hole on TikTok of other people who have finished the book and what everybody else has thought about it. And it's genuine, like all of the things that you learn and connect in backstory throughout that book is genuinely insane. It's jaw-dropping and I just love it so much. This is also my first 5-star read of the year, which love that for me. This is around the time last year that I was like, I haven't had a 5-star read yet and we're like 3 to 4 months into the year and I haven't had one 5-star read. This one comes up. I honestly didn't know if it was going to be a 5-star. I kind of feel like it was going to be around the 4-star range, but I didn't know what it was going to be. Pleasantly surprised with that outcome. But obviously I feel like I'm in a book slump and I read this like pretty much majority of it in one sitting. And so that's doing good things for me in my book slump. That's doing great things. But you guys know, like when you read a book that you love, it almost like puts you in like the best book slump that you can be in, because it's like at least you're in a book slump because you've read a book that you really enjoyed and not like, oh, I'm in a book slump because I read a book that I hated or I can't get through a book. So I am kind of feeling that way where I'm like, how am I going to pick up another book? And I fear the only way that you can get through it is to just pick up another book. Kind of a jump scare. I feel like when's the last time I updated? I think the last update I did was Friday night after some more thoughts on Sunrise on the Reaping and how I was having a hard time moving on from it, but I felt like the only way to move on from it was to read another book, but then I could not pick up another book and I have not been able to pick up another book, and instead I've just been scrolling through TikTok watching endless Hunger Game edits. There were multiple times I was like, I'm gonna pick up a book. I just couldn't do it, but I am bound to determine because me and my mom actually went to the store. I actually picked up, what is this? The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. And I didn't even know that this book had came out. This is the 4th book in the, I don't know what this series is called. Dream Harbor. So the first book is the like famous pumpkin spice cafe, if you guys saw that. And then now I think it was like the cinnamon roll bookstore, the Christmas tree farm, and then now it's the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. These books are literally like, I call it no brain power reads. Like they feel like reading a Hallmark movie. Like it's that vibe of a romance. And I just honestly felt like I needed something like this to read outside, like just something so mindless that I could enjoy. And I'm interested to see because all of the books have felt so different. I actually DNF'd the Christmas Tree Farm, and for some reason I cannot get myself to read that outside of Christmas. I tried to read it around Christmas time, can't do it. So I'm about to sit outside because it's really nice today. It's like 80-something degrees outside. I wanted to get a book to read by the pool, and I have my hair pulled back, which I hate when I braid my hair and I just look like, I don't know, the braid doesn't work on me. Why doesn't it work on me? I don't know. I thought that I would read this one and see if I can get through a book. Because I feel like once you get through another book after being in a like, I love this book, what is it? A book hangover. I'm in a book slump. Then I read a really good book that was a 5-star read. Now I'm in a book hangover. Anyway, so I'm about to go sit out by the pool and read something else that me and my mom got is, I've been seeing this everywhere, and it's called Clear Protein. So I wanted to try them because I don't know why, like I try to make smoothies, and if you guys watch my vlogs, you guys would know, like I go through phases where like I try to make a smoothie, but for some reason I don't love smoothies. Like they kind of make me feel a little gross. So that was like the only way I could get in like a protein powder, like a lot of protein in one thing. So I don't know, I like the idea of these Clear Protein. So there's blue raspberries, there's strawberry lemonade, and I got this one from a different brand that is coconut colada. I feel like this one would be good if you put it in like a icy. Like what would you do? You would do this, do that, some ice. What would you, milk? I don't know. This one is strawberry lemonade. I'm very interested to see how these go, and I wanted to make one, but why am I kind of getting grossed out by it now? I should make one. I don't know. I don't have like a shaker bottle, and I don't have a milk frother. Also, I want to address, if you can tell, the cut on my lip and how this part of my lip is not moving like the rest of my lip, and the bottom part, I actually, what was that, Saturday, went golfing, got into a golf cart accident. Golf cart flipped over on me. Thankfully it wasn't super bad, like it could have been so much worse, but my shoulder is like completely like, it's bruised all down here. My leg is bruised because it fell on my leg. So my lip is busted open because I hit something. I don't know, I just remember hitting my face. I think it was on the golf cart, and then I fell out of the golf cart, fell into a ditch, golf cart landed on my leg. Also, I've been dealing with that, so that's also why I didn't really read much this weekend. There was just a lot going on, okay? So if that's what you guys are seeing right here, worry not. Okay, I'm gonna go outside. I'm debating on whether or not to try some of this protein. I feel like I would try some of the strawberry lemonade ones, and this pack I think are like single use. I feel like this is a lot of powder. I feel like this is a lot of powder to put into one drink. I feel like I need like a shaker bottle or something to do this. I don't know. I don't know. I need to get a snack for by the pool, my water, and get everything set up. I know that I said that this book is just the type of book I need to kind of like, what do you call it? A palate cleanser, and to just move on to like another book. Even if it wasn't going to be a 5-star. Like I don't need 2 5-stars in a row. I just would like to, you know, be able to read. And I know I said these books, like I go into them knowing, like my expectations are that they're not written the best. I cringe sometimes. I don't know why I just keep reading the series though. I don't know. If you were to ask me, Destiny, why do you keep reading them? I'm just like, maybe it's the cover. It reminds me of like a video game or something in the way of like a cute small town. I don't know. There was just a scene and it is making me cringe. And it was like, I actually can't even say it. It's like, I can't believe this is a real conversation happening. Like, I think I would just, like, shrivel up and die. I couldn't take a man serious if he was saying these things to me. And also the thing with this book is that it's a single dad. The main girl becomes his nanny. But the thing is that he didn't even, like, know that he had a daughter. You learn this on page 1, so this is not a spoiler. Like, the daughter doesn't really talk to him. But the way, like, he's gotten better since, but the way he, like, spoke about his daughter, like, even after he met her, I was like, ow, sorry. Why do I keep doing it? Why? Why do I keep doing it? I literally have huge bruises on my shoulder, and I just keep smacking myself. Anyway, he, like, makes a comment of, like, how he doesn't feel attached to his daughter at all. And I'm like, and I get it because he wasn't in her life. But some of the ways that he was like talking about her, like he, at one point he literally says like, because he's the only one taking care of the daughter, like he says that he doesn't even like want to pull up at home. And even if that's not what it was supposed to come across like that is what it came across as. And so it's a little bit like, because like his life was so different in Paris. Like he can't stop saying that. He says it pretty much in every single chapter, that his life is so much different in Paris and he can't wait to go back to Paris. And it's like, okay, I don't know. We all know what's going to happen. Like if you're reading this book, you know the way that this book is going to play out. It's not like you're going to be like, oh, can't believe that happened. I don't know, y'all, I'm so tired. Unrelated, but I've been getting no sleep. I feel like you can tell. I don't know. I feel like there's some filter on this camera, so it kind of like blurs my face a little bit. But if you saw me with nothing, I don't even know how. I don't know how to work a camera. Do you guys know that? Do you guys know that you're watching a YouTube channel of somebody who knows nothing about anything? Does that make it kind of just more genuine though? Like I don't know anything about anything. I just really be posting these videos for y'all. That really hurt my lip to do. That was a mistake. All of my energy is slowly draining. I've been getting no sleep. I'm gonna try continue reading this though. I'm gonna try continue reading this. Am I having literally, oh my gosh, is something happening to me? Yeah, I have it. Okay, bye. Next day vibes. Excuse my mom getting ice out of the machine. Okay, I think yesterday I got about like halfway through this by the time that I ended up falling asleep last night. I woke up today and I was bound and determined to finish this book. Here's the thing, it takes very little brain power because like at the root of it, I don't feel like these characters feel very three-dimensional. Like it literally, when I read this series, like any of the books that I read, I'm like, they don't even feel like fully fleshed out characters with like actual thoughts and feelings. They just feel like they exist within this world for my own entertainment. Even though at the root of it, all book characters are there for your entertainment, but they all also serve a greater purpose. These books purely just feel like in no world could I ever think that these characters were real. Like, you know when you love a book and you're like, these characters feel so real to me? These books don't do that for me. These books are literally like great palate cleansing books. I feel like the thing is I would never recommend any of these books in this series for like you're gonna be obsessed with the couple, everything. I feel like you would find the town charming. Like I find the town charming. I think it's so cute. When you open up the book, there's a little map of the town. There are little different shops like flower shop, ice cream shop, pet shop, Max Pub, Pumpkin Spice Cafe, Gingerbread Bakery, Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, Pancake House, Christmas Tree Farm. And basically every book surrounds around like one of these things. So you kind of can see around how many books are going to be in the series because of like how she's already built up the town. That is charming. That is charming. And I remember saying back in September when I read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, I was like, it does give a little bit of like Gilmore Girls fanfic, but like not a whole lot, but a little bit. And you kind of still feel that like throughout the rest of the books. Like it feels kind of like that a little bit. All of that stuff about the books are charming. I feel like maybe that's part of what keeps me coming back, because that like small town cutesy feeling that you get from watching Gilmore Girls, I feel like you get in these books. And like I said, they're just one of those books, like if you're in a slump or book hangover or something, like there are just books out there that really cater to that specific need that you're needing to meet. You know what I mean? And I feel like these books are that. Like they're not amazing. They're not wonderful, you know, they're not the best written. I feel like even in this book, there are literally like, it's like a devastating topic, but it's like handled very weird because it's taking a deeper topic, which it is, but I don't know why I did the quotation marks, ignore that. It's taking a deeper topic but putting it in a lighthearted book, and it's not really showing that emotional depth of how devastating that is, then it doesn't feel as deep, you know, like it doesn't, it doesn't feel like these books ever get very like below surface level. So it's also hard to like build an attachment to actual characters in that way. However, I don't even care. This book did exactly what I needed it to do. I ended up giving this one a 2.5 stars, and that sounds brutal. Honestly, it sounds like I didn't enjoy it at all. It was a fun time. Do I really care about the characters at all? No. But did it keep me entertained? Yes. Did it cringe me out a little bit? Also, yes. Was I kind of sitting there at some point on the page and going, excuse me? Also, yes. There was like a specific thing in this book where like the kid is 5 years old, right? One, I feel like we did in this book a little bit of that thing where it's like authors sometimes writing children like they've never met one before. Cause like a 5-year-old, like some of the stuff is 5-year-old tendencies, but the other parts of it, I'm like, too old, you know? Like this is not how a 5-year-old behaves. But even that, I didn't really care. It just stuck out to me a little bit. The relationship, I didn't really care for. I feel like the relationships progress very weirdly in these books. And it may sound like I hated it, but like I said, I got through it, no problem. And I had a good time. I was entertained. At the end of the day, that's all I was asking for. I wasn't asking for it to be great. I wasn't even asking for it to be good, you know? In a specific circumstance in which I would recommend these books is I would say like, I feel like they're very seasonal. Like if you just want a read that will kind of put you in the mood of the season a little bit, but it's not too heavily seasonal, I feel like these books are good. I feel like they're no brain power. I feel like they're easy to get through. If you can get over a little bit of cringe, they're fine. Let's take a little field trip to right here. These are a group of books that I have on my radar. Now, I do have Out of Frame, One Day, and Promise Me Sunshine on my Kindle/iPad because that's how I've been reading. But I have all of these that I kind of took out for my physical TBR, and I was like, I could see myself reading these. Like I could. Kind of an April TBR, kind of a spring TBR, but like I'm not sticking to it. This is just like, at the moment I was like pulling stuff, you know, like I was just thinking, I don't know, because I feel like I still am not in the mood for like, I feel like I'm still getting over the hill. You know what I mean? Getting over the hill. One of my thought processes is Promise Me Sunshine. That is, me and Sarah are reading that book for Bookmarked, our podcast. We read a book each month and we talk about it on the podcast with everybody. And that is one for March. And book clubs are so much fun and I love them. And I love the community that I built. However, nobody talks about the stress of book club. Nobody talks about the stress of book club, and the stress that I would equate it to is when you knowingly in the back of your mind, like you knew that you had a project due for a few weeks, and instead of just like doing it and already like having it done and like you don't have to worry about it, it's like the week before and you're still putting it off and you're still putting it off, but it's like always in the back of your head and you're always thinking about it, and then all of a sudden it's like the night before the project is due and you haven't even started. Like it kind of gives you those scaries a little bit. I did start this book earlier in the month. However, I did soft DNF it because I was not feeling either the FMC or the MMC. I wasn't feeling either of them. And I would go into that one. However, there is kind of a similar topic that was just in that book that is in this book. It's a little bit different though. So I kind of want to just read this, to read it and be secure in the knowledge that I have read it. Do you get what I mean? So maybe I'll start that one. You know, with everything else in life, book slumps are just hard to get over. You just don't feel like reading. What a concept. I think my feelings today with reading have to do with the book slump feeling, but also feeling a little bit like I want to get out of the house. Like being in the house is making me a little crazy. I feel this intense pressure on my chest of like, I want to leave the house. I don't want to be in the house. I'm trying to like sit down and read and like just kind of be like, oh, it's okay. Last night, I did continue Promise Me Sunshine. That's what I'm reading right now. I, at like 4 a.m. started reading it and reading it again. I am right now about 30% into it. And I have to say, I am enjoying it more than I was previously. I feel like a lot of those negative feelings that I had towards the book that I said was mostly my book slump talking. I didn't love our two main characters. I was like, yeah, they're just kind of like not hitting for me. I hate when I say that. It's like the most vague way of saying anything. I picked it back up and I found our FMC way more endearing, and then I really liked our MMC because he's like helping her out through this huge grief that she's going through because she recently lost her best friend. And that is no spoiler, that's like the entire point of the book, is that she becomes a nanny for his niece and they meet and he's kind of helping her through this bucket list that her best friend made for her. And it's endearing, it's sweet. Okay, hello everybody. Great news and update. Last night I locked in. I mentally locked in. Me and my iPad like this. Actually, picture me horizontal. I was not vertical at all. Could not have been vertical if I tried. I finished Promise Me Sunshine. Yep, I finished it. And let me tell you guys, after beating the book slump feelings of like, I really don't want to read, part of that was that I doom scrolled on TikTok for like an hour straight. I locked in and I really enjoyed this book. I settled on a, I think I'm gonna give it a 4.25. I think I'm gonna be annoying and give it a 4.25. Even though my ratings are 100% like my ratings, why do I feel so annoyed when I do quarter stars? But it just got better as the book went on. First of all, our MMC, Miles, he literally is there for her through quite literally anything. It is literally like an angel. An angel sent down to help her through. Like she was fully meant to meet him. Like soulmate feeling in a book. Literally them. Even if it was purely platonic, because I have to also say this, even when they weren't like in a romantic entanglement, I was rooting for their friendship. Like I like their friendship enough to be like, I don't even need it. Okay, that was the wrong move. I don't even need it to be romantic. Like I would be completely fine if they stayed completely platonic, because the way that they were with each other was so sweet and genuine, and how he literally would drop anything to go be there for her. Another one of their books I read was Ready or Not, and I really liked the writing of that one because I said it was funny. Like as soon as I read Ready or Not, I was laughing. It's the same in this book, even though this book is genuinely has so many tough to handle topics in it, the main one being grief. So I would say, honestly, with this book, if grief is a topic that triggers you, I would say or recommend maybe don't pick it up, because it's just honestly intertwined through every single thing in the book. Like even with romantic interest and the guilt of like moving on is a big theme throughout the book. But what I really love about it is that I feel like it was a very realistic depiction of grief in the way that it walks along with you through basically like your life. Like you could be feeling like you're doing fine and then all of a sudden you feel like you're back to square one, or kind of coming to terms with how grief looks different as you evolve in these emotions of loss, and how maybe the pain of loss feels less, but how the grief changes and morphs into different things. I feel like the author did a really good job with showcasing grief in a realistic depiction. Also by the end of the book, like even where we're at with it, felt very realistic, especially for something as big as that. And also just like different methods of like shutting out or shutting down. It felt very realistic, and I feel like, so part of me does want to say like maybe don't, because it could be triggering, but also I feel like it could also be healing. It's also just so funny. Like they are about to go to this like dinner, and she says, "You look nice," I assure him, trying very hard to play it cool. "Fresh out of a J. Crew catalog." Oh, he frowns. "That's exactly what happened." "Huh? I went to J. Crew and bought this outfit this morning so I'd have something to wear." There's so many more funny moments, but that one made me giggle, so I had to highlight it. Also, this is what I mean by soulmates. Literally sent down to help her. She's talking to her mom and says, "He treats you well." "Mom, he walked into hell and dragged me back out." Nutella croissant Bruce Willis movie marathon. "I'll go back to the sporting goods store and see if that married guy will go out on a date with you." I come to a full stop and put my hands on my hips. "How do you know me so well?" "It's creepy." He laughs and rubs at his eyebrows. "It's not creepy, Lenny. It's called friendship." I want to carry a framed 8x10 of her everywhere I go. If I'm with people who didn't know her, I continue. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about her incessantly. If I'm with people who did know her, I can't figure out why they're not talking about her incessantly. That, like her telling him that turns into such a bigger thing. Oh my gosh. Comrade. I never thought of it about that way, but she was. It's a perfect word to describe her. She was the one at my side, had my back, no words necessary. I had one person on this earth who would have died for me, and I would have died for her if possible, but it wasn't possible. There was nothing I could do. Lenny, when I look at your face, I feel like I'm finally home after a really long day at work. Somebody sedate me. So those are some of my favorite quotes that I had annotated from the book. Genuinely had such a fantastic time with it, and it made me feel really giddy, and I honestly have not stopped thinking about it. I've actually been editing this video and I forgot that I didn't do an update, that I finished it, and I was excited to talk about it. Go pick it up. If you want great friendship, strong, genuine connection, soulmate feeling, laugh out loud moments, pick it up. I will say, this is where I'm gonna end this video because I'm about to be really busy and I wanted to get this video up because I've already edited the whole entire thing, but I'll do a part 2 because I don't know. We've had 2 really strong reads. We had a 5-star and a 4.25. So I feel like I've had some really strong reads, but I feel like we at least need a part 2 to like do the real test of if I'm kind of getting out of this book slump finally after months. This will be the 4th month consecutively of feeling like I'm in a slump. Longest slump that I've ever had in my life. So stay tuned. There will be a part 2. I love you guys.